So hey guys, and welcome back. Welcome to another live stream. And I think in this live stream, you have seen from the thumbnail itself that we will not be discussing a single thing about Kylian Mbappe. We'll be discussing the football transfers of Premier League itself, and I think we should discuss more about Premier League because, in my opinion, I've discussed more about Kylian Mbappe, much more. I've spoken much more on the Kylian Mbappe transfer saga updates. So I would not want to discuss more because I don't want to sit on that hype train, in my opinion. And eventually, if things go bad, then we'd be the ones who'd be blamed ourselves. That we had given so much information, we were eventually overhyped that Mbappe would be coming or not. So let's get on to our live stream, and we'll be starting. As you can see on your streams on your screens as well, that the first daily report, the first football transfer daily report of Premier League is obviously will be of our club Manchester United. And eventually, just a second, I'll be starting it. I'll be starting. So we all know the fact that Rasmus Højlund to United, Manchester United, is just a matter of time. And eventually, you all know this fact as well that Rasmus Højlund himself wants United, and United are going after him. And eventually, there's a report. Uh, I think it was a report 3 to 4 hours back, 2 to 3 hours back. Fabrizio himself posted that understand the terms of Manchester United agreement with Rasmus Højlund and his camp on personal terms are now clear. 5-year deal, 2028. Told contract will include an option for the further year. Man United will bid this week, not entertaining for the right fee, not entertaining 90 to 100 million games. So I think United have clarified their positions on Rasmus Højlund deal because Atlanta at this point of time are demanding way too much high wages, in my opinion. Way too much high transfer fees, and I think that doesn't make sense for me. Eventually, United have clarified their position as well because 100 million or 90 million deal for Rasmus Højlund, who is yet to prove himself in the biggest leagues probably, and in Atalanta, he has himself not yet proved on that level, which would eventually gain him a 100 to 90 million deal eventually, which would earn Atalanta a transfer fee of 90 to 100 million. I think this he hasn't proved it yet. Yeah, we all know he's probably one of the best young talents in Syria, one of the best young strikers in Syria. Alongside, we can say about Victor Osimhen as well. Victor Osimhen, the way Victor Osimhen has played for Napoli, the way he has played. So I think if any club wants to go for him for a 120 million deal, it would be worth because the money will be worth because Victor Osimhen has played and has shown his capabilities on that high level. He has enabled Napoli to win the Scudetto after 33 years and eventually bagged so many goals alongside, and his partnership with Kvaratskhelia was amazing. So I think Rasmus Højlund is yet to prove his worth even in the Serie A. Despite the fact he has scored some goals, he has been a very consistent player for Atlanta this season, the previous season. But eventually, the fact that you cannot deny this fact that Rasmus Højlund's deal would not be eventually worth for 100 million, and I think a 50 United eventually would be willing to give I think 45 to 50 million deal. Probably 45 to 50 million bid would be, in my opinion, would be a suitable one, because you all know this fact. United tax is always there. United always overpay the players, and United, in my opinion, need to settle things down in their transfer department as well, because I think United are also going. We all know this fact that United are also going for who's that other guy at the midfielder, Sofian Amrabat. So I think United, if they want to do something, United would need to make a transfer that would eventually mean Eric Ten Hag eventually is trying as well to clarify the position of United in these transfer targets as well, that United would not be overpaying to any of the transfers, and eventually would pull out of those transfers where the transfer fees will be higher, because United Although despite the budget is there, despite Glazers have agreed to give Eric Ten Hag a bit of a lucrative budget, not that lucrative because the way we would have thought if the Qataris would have come in, they would have given Eric Ten Hag much more freedom as compared to the Glazers. But eventually, a 150 million backing, and United already have signed Mason Mount for 60 to 65 millions with add-ons. And so I think United going for Rasmus Højlund for 100 million will never make sense in my opinion. And Rasmus Højlund, I think his has agreed the personal terms with Manchester United, and I think he's very much tempted. And PSG are on the like you can say, are on the links to Rasmus Højlund as well. They're keeping their tabs open on Rasmus Højlund as well because of the Mbappe departure. I'm not going to exaggerate that Mbappe departure, but they are keeping their tabs open. And eventually, even if the Mbappe deal goes through or not, they would be trying to sign Rasmus Højlund. But at this point of time, according to several reports, according to several media houses, and especially Fabrizio and those top tier sources, that there is nothing concrete between PSG and Rasmus Højlund entourage in terms of personal terms. And Atalanta and PSG have not even met together. The way United are looking like, United may sign, I think, uh, Rasmus Højlund. United are ahead in this race, but PSG are at this point of time not ahead. And I think they might even be looking at other options as well, including Harry Kane. Probably they might even be looking for, I think, Dusan Lajovic as well. So I think they would eventually be also not prepared to pay a 90 million fee for a young talent as well, because PSG pay their money, PSG pour money on special players, on not on those players, I think, in my opinion, which are yet to prove their worth as well. And I think this deal will be going through, in my opinion. And Manchester United need to act upon this very quickly. I think even if PSG are not really working on this deal, but if PSG comes, PSG would want to do this deal in one attempt only. They would want to complete this deal in one attempt. They'd be providing a lucrative offer to Atlanta as well. For I think United, if United bid about 50 to 55 million, Atlanta would perfectly and immediately reject it. But in the contrary, if PSG comes with an offer of 70, 75 million, and they would want to see that United have given a 50 to 55 million offer, and then a 70 to 75 million offer would make sense for Atlanta as well, because they would sit in and they talk about it, and eventually they might settle things up, and Rasmus Højlund to PSG might happen as well. So I think United should need to act quickly, because if you all know the fact, United will not offer more than 60 million for him. United max to max, in my opinion, United will be offering a 50 to 55 million deal for him eventually. So I think United should need to act quickly, because offer rejection, and then United will have to make a second offer. So I think for that reason, United should act rapidly. And eventually, despite the fact that personal terms are agreed, and eventually this deal, I think personal terms are 40% of a deal, which finalizes 60% is of the club's side and 40% is of the personal terms. So I think 40% this deal is done, in my opinion, and the 60% remaining is with the talks with Atalanta, and a fee which United would guarantee to Atalanta as well. So I think things are happening, and things will be happening later this week. I think it might be happening tomorrow, it might be happening on Thursday, or probably like after the United match against Real Madrid on Thursday. And probably it might even end up on Friday as well. The bid might go on till Friday. So I think this in my opinion, Rasmus Højlund to United will happen. And but it will only happen until and unless United act quickly. United don't really lose hope either, even if PSG drives forward. So United should go for him, in my opinion, but not at this price of 90 to 100. So our second update is regarding Sofian Amrabat. So first we'll discuss about the offer rejection probably. So Courier's report, there is much more in it as well. So I think I don't really believe Courier is a top tier media house, but eventually we have to believe it, because there's much more hype in this as well, because Sofian Amrabat reportedly has rejected an approach from Liverpool in favor of a move to Manchester United MUFC, and it's a report of Courier. So I think I'd definitely not be really believing on this report, because these reports might be contradicting with some things as well. I think even if Liverpool would have wanted to sign him, Liverpool, I think, in my opinion, never made official attempts to sign Sofian Amrabat. They were only tracking him. They were only trying to search him, and eventually they were wanting a replacement kind of a person for replacement kind of a player for who's that their player Fabinho. But Fabinho, I think, in my opinion, I think according to many reports, David Onstein's report as well, exclusive report as well, that his deal is in jeopardy. It is currently at halt, and Fabinho to Al Ittihad, Al Ittihad, might not happen at this point of time, because not because of his dogs. There was a funny thing that in it, that his dogs will not be there. I think I don't know really much about it, but there was something about dogs as well, that his dogs might not survive in Saudi Arabia, or probably like stuff like that. So I think Fabinho's deal is currently not in. It is in a halt, and there's nothing agreed between the clubs, Liverpool and Al Ittihad. So I think for that reason as well, it might be a thing that this guy Sofian Amrabat's deal with Liverpool might not happen as well, because, or it might be a fact that Liverpool are going after Romeo Lavia, which we'll be discussing later in this video, as in this live stream as well. So I think, in my opinion, this should not be thought that Liverpool's bid was rejected. I think Liverpool, in my opinion, despite the fact that United, they are behind United in this season, probably like they're in the Europa League and United in the Champions League. United finished third and they finished sixth. So I think they finished fifth. Sorry, in my opinion. So I think Liverpool's offer might have tempted. Even if Liverpool would have offered him, the offer might have tempted him. But I don't think so that he might have rejected the offer, and it's just to gain clickbaits, in my opinion. And I don't really believe on Courier, despite the fact it has 2.9 million followers on Twitter. But I don't really believe some media houses and some journalists, because they publish anything they like to and they want to at any point of time. So there's nothing, in my opinion. And then we are coming on Sofian Amrabat to Manchester United. There's a report that his representative has spoken to Woodbull Premier Mohammad Al Bustati, Sofian Amrabat's representative to Woodbull Premier. There are quite a few clubs interested in Sofian. Now it's a matter of time, matter of making the right choice. He's still a Fiorentina player, and Sofian is open to a transfer just like Fiorentina. There are 2 to 3 clubs he's open to. So I think this deal, in my opinion, is not only about United. This deal might be about. I think you should include Liverpool in it. You should include Chelsea in it, because links are always there, and we don't know what is happening backdoor, because in many transfer sagas there are reports which eventually emerge after the things which have gone through, and after the discussions, and as well, that suddenly a report comes out that Sofian Amrabat to Chelsea is a done deal, and here we go, and stuff like that. And we'd be shocked that how did Chelsea come on the stage, or how did Liverpool come on the stage? It was all United. Sofian Amrabat would have been a United player according to reports. So I think backdoor there are reports. Backdoor there are I think communications between the Fiorentina player Sofian Amrabat and other clubs as well, because he has proven to be a good player. I think, in my opinion, I have seen him in the World Cup. We all have seen, by the way, we all have seen him in the World Cup, in the Fiorentina squad as well. He's very good player. He can hold the ball. He's a very kind of a physical player, and can act as a replacement to Casemiro as well, in my opinion. If I'm talking about United, and can act as a replacement to Fabinho as well, and eventually in the Chelsea system he might even fit as well. So I think that should be thought that eventually. But if I'm talking about United are, in my opinion, in the driving seat, because there are no reports that any other clubs are much more interested in it, and the representatives always try to gain, I think, more attention by speaking some things like eventually he would not come out on the media and say that only United are interested in him. So what would be the matter? It would eventually mean that only United is interested in Sofian Amrabat and no other club, because he wants to show that his client is kind of a very good player and top European clubs are interested in him. So I think that is something you should look upon as well, because it might be a gaining strategy as well to gain some momentum for Fiorentina as well. And I think for United as well, this might be a strategy to pull United to bid for Sofian Amrabat as early as possible. So I think this would have been the case in my opinion. So for me, Sofian Amrabat's deal of 20 to 25 million would make sense. I think if it is a 25, probably with the add-ons 5 to 6 7 million add-ons, I think that would make sense. A 30 million deal for Sofian Amrabat, who cares about it? That I think he's a 28-year-old. He can give 4 to 5 years max to max. I think minimum 3 to 4 years and probably max 5 years to United. And I think he can be a good player. And midfielders always really don't lose their shape early in their careers. And I think he might be a good replacement to Casemiro as well, who might even go in the next 1 or 2 years. And I think he can act as a replacement to Fred as well, who might be also leaving United this summer. And there are links regarding him as well, and Scott McTominay as well. That Scott McTominay might also be leaving, might also consider leaving in Manchester United this summer if an offer arrives, and West Ham are constantly looking upon him. And I think if an offer arrives and United, and in my opinion, in my updates, there are updates regarding some players, regarding two offers, and the two offers from West Ham to United are that this might not even be true, but according to some of my reports which I have studied and I have saw and I have read, that West Ham have offered 38 million for Scott McTominay and 5 million add-ons, and a loan deal for Harry Maguire with an obligation, or a mandatory with an obligation to buy next season. So I think if this is true, then I think that is an amazing strategy. Selling Maguire out of United, because Eric Ten Hag doesn't want, or I think he doesn't include Maguire in his plans. Maguire has certainly become a fourth choice centre back, and eventually in a team of four centre backs, you are the fourth choice. And eventually, if Shaw can also play the left back. So I think as a centre back. So I think Maguire certainly becomes a fifth choice centre back in my opinion. And the last season as well, Harry Maguire was played by Eric Ten Hag, because Eric Ten Hag wanted to show that he's giving time to his captain as well. And now Harry Maguire has been made certain by Eric Ten Hag that you are not the captain as well, and eventually his place in the team is very much kind of lost, and eventually he'd not be gaining more time as well. So I think for him, if it is even a loan offer, and eventually West Ham are offering him, so I think he should eventually go as well before United even agree a deal. He should go to Eric Ten Hag and say that I want to go there and I want to prove myself on loan. If he wants to, he can go on the loan, and he will not even lose his place for the good luck with subscribers to the good championship. Richard Huttonson. Hello, bro. If you are new on this channel, so do subscribe for more updates on Premier League, on other clubs. Good luck with your subscribers to the championship game and pre-match winners World Cup final score of the leads. I don't really understand this, but bro, if you are new on this channel, do subscribe, do like this stream, and I think thank you so much for joining this stream, and do share it as well. So we were on Harry Maguire. So I think Harry Maguire needs to tell Eric Ten Hag that I want to go there. I want to show that I can play as well. 1 year loan deal probably is very good for Harry Maguire's own confidence as well, because if he wants to go there, if he wants to prove himself for the towards Gareth Southgate as well, that he wants to make sure that his place does not goes in the England team, and his place is not abolished. And Gareth Southgate even has told him that your place might be in danger. So I think he should go as well, and he should make sure that he proves all the haters, all the critics wrong, and performs in West Ham and then come to United, be in a boosted confidence, and eventually work hard in United system as well, in Eric Ten Hag system, get the confidence back of Eric Ten Hag on you as well. So I think for Maguire it is good, and for Scott McTominay, if he wants to go United, eventually United were waiting for a lucrative offer, and eventually if it comes like a 38 million offer, probably, as according to my updates, according to my reports. So I think a 38 million offer certainly makes fits the deal for United. Proven experience in the world, and the championship, where the championship is the best team in EPL, and Lavia and the media, it will be backed by FSG with the Liverpool mins. Yeah, proven experience in the world and the championship, where the championship is the best team in EPL, and Lavia and media will be backed by FSG with the Liverpool. I think, yeah, I'll be discussing on Lavia as well later in this video. So do make sure that you stay over here, and you watch this stream, because I'll be discussing about Romeo Lavia as well, because I am discussing currently about United affairs, and then I'll be discussing on Liverpool as well, and Harry Kane transfer saga as well. So do make sure that you are here, and thank you for commenting on this, and do subscribe to this channel as well. So we were discussing on Scott McTominay, and if United can gain a 40-45 million from Scott McTominay, that would be amazing, because United at this point of time are even struggling. What do you think about Mbappe 259 million saga? Bro, it's not 259 million saga, it's probably like 300. They're paying him, they're paying PSG 300 for Mbappe, the transfer fees, and Mbappe is getting a salary of probably 300 million or 200 million, and the other would be 100% image rights, at broadcasting rights, sponsorships, would eventually make up to a 700 million euros deal for Kylian Mbappe in his wage structure. So I think Kylian Mbappe, if he wants to go, I'm just answering for your question, because I wasn't including this story in my today's live, because I've discussed more on this. And if you want to check this out, you can check my latest videos out as well. So for me, it doesn't make sense for Mbappe to go over there. But if he wants that bag, I think he should go. His family even is tempted towards that offer, but Mbappe is constantly rejecting. Mbappe is constantly not allowing his Entourage to speak anything about this, and even he doesn't want to join Al Hilal even for one season. I think that would eventually mean that he will be going for a bag. I think, yeah, Mbappe will be a billionaire at the age of 26. Yeah, I think, yes, that is definitely true. And I think he'll be one of the top earners. He might even become the top earner in football at the age of 26 as well, and even surpass United Ronaldo as well, who is the current top earner. So I think that doesn't make sense for me, because if he wants to follow his passion, because his passion is to play for Real Madrid, and eventually that is the fact that he is not even allowing his family to ride on his choices. Even he's not allowing his family to allow him to tempt towards that offer. And I think Mbappe, in my opinion, will be a Real Madrid player this summer, and that is my bold prediction. And I think this even would be true, because Real Madrid are just waiting for the offers, and for PSG and Kylian Mbappe to make a move. Then they'll make a move. Unless and until, they will never make a move for Kylian Mbappe. So I think that is true, that Mbappe can be a billionaire at the age of 26. So do ask more questions as well if you have some queries as well. If you have football questions as well, do ask from me, and do subscribe. So we have discussed about United, and I think we should move on to yeah, Fiorentina's Sofian Amrabat will not be in Fiorentina's preseason tour as well, as a move to MUFC gets closer. Gazeta is kind of I think a first or second tier journalist group. I think we should believe in it, and there is concrete reports that he is not joining Fiorentina's preseason tour, as I think he wants to leave Fiorentina as soon as possible, and he's waiting for the official offer of MUFC. And I think that would be interesting to see as well, that what United do in this situation, because United have to sign two players, and both those two players are eventually waiting for those offers, and United should act as soon as possible in those both offers, because United try to take a good amount of time in settling things, in bidding for the player, and then trying to attack, trying to build the personal terms. Eventually, personal terms with Sofian Amrabat might have been agreed as well. With Rasmus Holland, it is completely agreed. So I think the 40% of these both deals are complete, and it's only 120% out of those 200% which needs to be finished. And I think that will eventually come through, and United would be bidding for him, in my opinion, a 25 million offer for Sofian Amrabat to get him on board on United. So I think if that comes true, I think that would be a good deal as well. So we have discussed much about United. We'll be moving towards Liverpool, and I think Liverpool, I have only one report in that as well. So I've discussed about Fabinho as well, and Jordan Henderson, as you all know, is a done deal to which club? I think Al Ittefaq, Steven Gerrard's club, and he has that done deal for, I think, 12 to 13 million. Liverpool will be getting for him, and he'll be joining Al Ittefaq. And Fabinho's deal will not be going through, is not going through at this point of time, at least till I'm live, and I haven't got any report. I'll check it out, even if in Twitter there's nothing as well. So I think that is something interesting. That Fabinho's deal to Al Ittihad is not happening at this point of time, and it is in jeopardy. It is in a halt. So let's discuss something more about Liverpool's midfield target, Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia is, you all know, a Southampton player. He's a young talent, and 19-year-old. He's only 19-year-old, and he made his Premier League debuts as well. Premier League appearances. He was a really, really good player in the Southampton squad with alongside Kyle Walker-Peters. The most players I like those players like Kyle Walker-Peters, James Ward-Prowse, Romeo Lavia, Bella Kochap. I really like these players, in my opinion, in Southampton squad. So I think he's a very good player. He can play very well in that centre mid position, and Liverpool's attacking mindset would eventually fit him perfectly in that Klopp system. I think Southampton, yeah. So let's discuss the report of David Ornstein. Southampton have turned down an opening offer of from Liverpool for Romeo Lavia, LFC proposal thought to be worth around 37 euro pounds, and rejected by Saints FC as they seek fee in the region of 50 million pounds. Personal terms for 19-year-old Belgium is not an issue. So I think it is a green light, and green light on the personal terms, but not on the green light on the club side. And because Saints, there's a big gap in the valuation. It's 37 and it's 50 million. So I think it would take 1 or 2 days to sort these things out and sort these details out, because I think Liverpool eventually would sit down on a 45 million or probably like add-ons and situations like that, and probably add-ons like making it a 50 million deal, probably a 49-50 million deal. So I think Southampton would be tempted by that offer, and I think Romeo Lavia is Liverpool's number one target, in my opinion, at this point of time. As I'm talking, although Marco Verratti has also been linked with the Liverpool from PSG, but he's been valued at a very big high price, at a very high price of 70 million euros of from PSG, and I think PSG will not be accepting anything less than 60 million from him. And despite the fact that he's 30-year-old, and I think Liverpool would want to build a team that is, I think, and they're trying to build that. They're trying to attract more young players, and eventually Dominic Soboslai is a young player. McAllister is a young player. He's a 23-24-year-old. Romeo Lavia is a new midfielder who's 19-year-old, and I think Jordan Anderson is going, who was a 31, 32-year-old. And eventually they're trying to build. James Milner has gone. Alexander Oxlade-Chamberlain has gone. So I think Liverpool are building a team which is of the younger age as well, young and eventually more energetic, because Klopp has seen it all in the last season what this team did, and his midfield was eventually shambles. It was not doing properly. Fabinho had a very poor season as well. Henderson had a poor season. James Milner was not up to the mark. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was eventually in his decline. So I think Liverpool are trying to build a team which is for the future, and eventually that is no wonder that they are going out after Lavia as well. And they might even sit down on a 45. You all know this fact that Liverpool have signed Dominic Szoboszlai at a very cheaper price. They've signed Alec McAllister, who's a World Cup winner, who's a very very good player for 35. I think 35 million they have signed. So I think that is amazing. That is an amazing transfer strategy. That is really really good from I think this Liverpool's transfer side. So I think Lavia to Liverpool is happening, and it's only a matter of time that things really sort out between the clubs, and eventually it would be a here we go on this side of Romeo Lavia, and it would eventually we'll then think that how that Liverpool bought him for 45 million eventually. That even a 45 million 45 million deal is a bargain for Romeo Lavia considering the talent he has. But I think a 50 million deal would eventually not make sense. The way I speak for Rasmus Holland, the same way I'll speak for Romeo Lavia as well, despite the fact he's a Premier League proven player. And I think that is the reason Saints are also asking some high fee for him as well. So I think the deal is going through. And let's get on to our next update, and it is eventually about Harry Kane. So let's discuss one thing about Bayern president who has said, I think that here in Bundesliga we don't have many international stars anymore. Bayern always try to bring stars. Harry Kane is a highly attractive player, England captain and a top scorer. He would do us and the Bundesliga good. So I think they are coming all out for him, and eventually the biggest reason for this is that Harry Kane has given them allowance to do so. Harry Kane, if Harry Kane would not have allowed them, if Harry Kane would not have agreed, personal terms are probably like Harry Kane would not have given them the word that he'll be joining Bayern at the end of this transfer window. So I think they would not have come out openly the way they are telling now. That Bayern president, honorary president, in my opinion, yeah, honorary president, who came out and said that Harry Kane had a word with us. Harry Kane, if he does not, Daniel Levy is a tough competitor. He's a tough negotiator. We need to negotiate with him. And eventually, Harry Kane is a very top player. Harry Kane has agreed with us, and he has told us that he'll be a Bayern player this summer. And eventually, if he keeps on his word, if he keeps on his promise, he'll be a Bayern Munich player as well. So they are coming openly out for Harry Kane, and eventually Bayern are the top priority for Harry Kane himself as well, because he does not like PSG at this point of time, despite the fact PSG are even looking after him as well. Uh, Rasmus Holland, him, Dusan Lajovic, PSG always want to be in that spotlight, be in that transfer market list of because eventually you all know the fact that letting go their best striker Kylian Mbappe, if because it's always true that Kylian Mbappe is going this summer, and it is a deal that which eventually go down till the end of the day, end of the transfer deadline day as well. So I think they are keeping their tabs open on every player, and PSG at this point of time even are looking to win this race in one attempt, the way they are looking to win the race for Rasmus Holland as well. So they would want to have to make decision. They will want to have I think the priority of Luis Enrique and Luis Campos as well, because Enrique's in Luis Enrique's system, Harry Kane might thrive as well, and Rasmus Holland both will thrive, and they'll have to make a decision. And eventually, I think Harry Kane is a top priority. It would be a top priority for any club in the world. United as well were going after him, and but United did not sign him, unfortunately, and it was eventually Daniel Levy who sanctioned the Premier League. He would not offer any. He would not listen to any offers from the Premier League clubs and the top six clubs. He sanctioned any offer from the top six club. So I think, in my opinion, Harry Kane to Bayern Munich makes sense, and Harry Kane would want to win some trophies, would want to try a new, different experience, and I think in Bundesliga he will thrive. The way he scored 30 goals in Premier League, despite the fact Haaland scored more, but he's been consistent in the scoring charts. He's been really, really consistent. So I think in the Bundesliga he'd tear them apart. Him, Sane, and Musiala, the deliveries from Musiala, Kimmich, and I think the others, who was that, their left back, Alfonso Davies. So I think he'd definitely be a very, very good signing for Bayern Munich this summer. So I think they're going after him, and eventually they might have a chance, out and out chance, to win the Champions League as well. Because the one thing that's missing in them is the presence of a striker, is the presence of a proper goal scorer, and eventually Thomas Tuchel loves Harry Kane as well. So I think there's a report about him as well. It was only 6:56 p.m. and it's 4 hours from now. It's only about Kane and FC Bayern. Bayern bosses fear no danger and interest from PSG. That is a point that PSG are only keeping their tabs open, but there's nothing concrete regarding PSG and Harry Kane. And Harry Kane himself does not want to join PSG, so that satisfies them. So that really tells them that he'll not be a PSG player, and he will not entertain any offer from PSG. CEO Dressen and technical director Nepe have stayed in Munich. Strategy for further negotiations is clear. Bayern needs to wants to meet Tottenham Levy with total respect quietly in. Oh, show more aa gaya yaar. I'll discuss. I'll tell you one. I'll tell you. I'll read it out for you guys. Pretty goal. Plettenberg and quietly in the best case in a personal meeting. Crucial days now. Crucial days are ahead in the Hurricane deal and Levy. There will be a meeting in the next few days between Levy and the PSG boss and the Bayern bosses. So I think the deal is imminent and it is happening. Some things they are happening in my opinion. Things are happening. Here we go. Might be a soon. I think not as early as August. Probably August is only 5 days now. From 5 days from now, so I think it will be before the Premier League starts and the season starts. It will be before. I think 7 to 8 August. This deal will be finalized, and eventually Harry Kane will be a Bayern player. So I think this deal for Bayern would eventually work out, and 100 million for Daniel Levy, who can spend on Dusan Lajovic, who can spend on Randall Kolo Muani as well, because Kolo Muani is linked to Tottenham as well. So I think this deal for even getting for a 29-year-old is amazing. Getting 100 million, 110 million alongside add-ons would eventually be very, very good deal for Daniel Levy himself, because he can then spend money on big transfers as well. So I think that is a good deal. Harry Kane is a player which would eventually give them good money if he is uh, gone now. If he goes now, then he'll give them money. But if he goes next summer, he'll be a free agent. And eventually, if he goes next summer as well, he would be a 30, 31, 30-year-old player. So I think the 30-year-old mark is that mark which eventually gets the price and the value of the player down eventually. Despite the fact Harry Kane can play for 2-3 seasons eventually 30 at his prime, he is in his prime. So I think despite the fact it is good for Daniel Levy to sell. It would be a really, really good deal for him to sell Harry Kane to Bayern Munich this summer at a good price at 100 and 120 million. So I think discussing more, and we'd be talking about Chelsea. And Chelsea, I think Caicedo's deal is in a halt, and eventually this, I think uh, Chelsea needs to act earlier, because I think this deal eventually, if a club comes around, if let's suppose if Liverpool comes ahead with a bid, so who would he choose? He would definitely choose Liverpool, because Liverpool have Europe. Despite the fact that Moises Caicedo has agreed personal terms. Personal terms are not a matter of something importance really much, because I myself specified it's a 40%. So 40% makes something big in a transfer move. But eventually, when the clubs are not agreeing, and when there is complete halt, and Chelsea are not looking forward to sign him really, really quickly, and are not acting quickly on this deal, so I think that would eventually dishearten or probably demotivate Moises Caicedo as well, because he wants to make this move as early as possible. And eventually, if Chelsea are not doing it, he might be tempted. He might be instructed, and he might be I think he might be advised by his entourage to sign a deal with Liverpool, probably, who are I think at this point of time are ahead of Chelsea. I think, sorry Chelsea fans, but Liverpool are way ahead of Chelsea at this point of time. Chelsea finished 12th, Liverpool finished 5th. Uh, I think for the next 4 to 5 years as well, Chelsea might not even surpass Liverpool, in my opinion. I think that's my prediction. But sorry, Chelsea fans, if I disheartened you, but eventually that is a fact, and you might also believe this as well. You might have this fact in your hearts as well, in your minds as well. So I think, uh, let's discuss this. Breaking, despite what's being reported, there's no change in Chelsea, Brighton, Moises Caicedo negotiations still ongoing. There's nothing concrete. Chelsea submitted 70 million bid. The way Chelsea, I think, Chelsea at one point of time in the January transfer window, they were paying hefty money for every player. They were like, oh yes, we'll be paying so much high money, 100 million for Mudrik, 100 million for Enzo Fernandez. So I think, uh, they were paying so much high fee for every player, and now they're not even paying pennies for players. They're even stuck in 5 to 10 million add-ons. Give prefer You need to prefer quality over money. Prefer quality over money, because he'd be a very good partnership with Enzo Fernandez. So I think, why you are constantly bulging, why you're constantly hanging upon that 5 to 10 million add-ons. Give Brighton 5 to 10 million add-ons. Take Moises Caicedo on your team, gel up him with the squad, gel up him with Enzo Fernandez, because he and Enzo Fernandez would eventually be a very, very good partnership. Even as a rival fan, as a Manchester United fan as well, I definitely say they will be doing really, really good for Chelsea, both of them, and eventually that would be a really good deal for Chelsea if it goes through. And they need to act as early as possible on this deal, in my opinion, if they want to sign him, because any club might even try to sign him because of his quality and because of his thing. And eventually, Brighton, in my opinion, knows that they do not want to sell. They do not need to sell Moises Caicedo, because he knows he's been tempted by Brighton as well, because he is their main player. He's Deserby's main system player, and eventually he will get that role in the Europe as well, because Brighton this season are playing in Europe, and in Chelsea he will not be playing Europe himself. Deserby said that we will be playing in Europe, but Chelsea will not. So I think it's a decision to make for Moises Caicedo, who now needs to think about his future, and he has made his decision, but Chelsea are not making the decision to whether pay a 5 or 10 million add-ons or not. But in my opinion, if they won't, I think it would be, if they stretch this deal more than, like, if they stretch this deal above the I think the season starts, like, after the preseason tour ends and stuff like that, then the gel up with the squad would eventually be very difficult, because it would be only his 6 to 7 days in this with the squad, and eventually he'd want to play with the Chelsea, and in the first game week, which starts on probably like August 13 or August 14, I don't know, but it starts on August 13. So I think the gel up with the squad would really be difficult, and it's 18 days now, in my opinion. Yeah, 18 to 19 days when the season starts. So I think Chelsea needs to act really quickly on this deal if they want to get through with this deal. And Chelsea had contact with Mark Guehi 15 days ago, and there's still a lot of interest in him. Mark Guehi, we all know he's an English international, and eventually is. I think he's a center back. I think not. He's a center back. So I think him to Chelsea would eventually make sense as well. For a 35, his market value is 35 million, and he's a very, very good. He made his English debut, or probably he played for England in these World Cup qualifiers, as in these Euro qualifiers as well. So I think that would be a good signing for him. But Chelsea need to act quickly. Chelsea have let go so many of their players. Mount, Havertz. They're looking to offload Conor Gallagher as well for a 45 million. They've rejected a 45 million deal for him as well from West Ham. Uh, they're looking forward to they've sold Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So many players they've sold. I think that should make a proper team. The players they've sold: Edward Mendy, Hakim Ziyech. We don't know about his future. They've sold, I think, whom they've sold one or two players as well, and they're loaning out one or two players as well. So they need, despite the fact that they have some good players in their side as well, they had so much squad depth last season as well, but they need to get more quality in that squad depth. If they don't want to really add to their squad depth, they need to bring much quality in that, because if there's no quality, Chelsea eventually would struggle again, and then the blame would eventually come on Mauricio Pochettino and eventually Todd Bowley, but then again sack him the way he did Potter, the way he did to Graham, Thomas Tuchel. I think so many players so many managers, two managers he sacked, and one was Lampard, who was a caretaker manager. So I think they need to act quickly on these deals, on these I think signings as well. They need to sort out what they want to do in their transfer window, because they're going after Olise at this point of time for a 45 million deal. I think Crystal Palace might be tempted to sell him if they get the right fee for him. But I think Chelsea have got two important players on that right wing as well, I think who will play that guy. Yeah, I forgot his name. Michael Olise will play. So I think there are two players as well. So I think Chelsea are selling their on their loan, are sending their attacker, that right winger Gabriel Santos. I think his name is Gabriel. They're sending him on loan, and I think that is a very stupid or decision. It might even turn out to be a good decision if he is developed, but I think that might be a stupid decision from Pochettino and him as Pochettino and Todd Boehly, that they might even not. I think if he does not performs well, if he lacks confidence, and eventually Michael Olise even does not perform in Chelsea or probably stuff like that. So I think they'd have three wingers on that, and three young wingers on that side, on that right winger side. So there'd be much more choice. Noni Madueke, Michael Olise, and eventually I think that would eventually bring more quality in the squad as well. But I think there would be demotivations as well, because if one player starts and the other two do not start, and they eventually are bench players, so eventually that would demotivate them as well. So in my opinion, Chelsea uh, uh, should act quickly on those their transfer targets as well. So I think that's it for this live stream, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream. And eventually I did this in complete English, no my native language, nothing in my native language. And eventually that was a good stream for me as well, because for the first time I've done a stream with whole lot of confidence, and eventually that worked out for me as well. And I hope you guys have liked the stream as well. Those who will be seeing us now, after I finish the live stream, do like this, do subscribe to our channel. We had a one unique viewer as well, unique man, Richard Hutchinson. He came in our channel as well, and expressed his opinions as well. We respected his opinions, and I think if you guys will also come, I'd respect your opinions as well, because I myself is a youngster. I myself am a youngster, and eventually I would love to share my football opinions with you, and I would love to have your football opinions as well, and entertain your opinions as well, your questions as well. So that's it for this video, and I hope you guys liked it. Do subscribe to this channel, because the views are incoming and I might be demotivated again. So please try to get me motivated as well. So thank you so much, and goodbye. Take care.